Okay.
Alright.
You can probably tell for wherever we put this that this is the first ever time I have done a podcast. I have heard that everybody has one at some point, and here we are.
I've always been interested in trying, like, my own podcast, but the problem there is that I'm horrible at, like, speaking off the top of my head, basically. I'll fumble over my own words, but...
Hey, me too. So we'll have that going.
we can fumble together. I
Yeah,
think the best way to tackle this is just to treat it as much like a casual conversation as possible,
that is true.
and
Yeah.
then less like just like a show, because I feel like
Yeah.
if you try to entertain, like that was a problem that I had with Saber, where we'd always try to do this thing where it's like, oh, if we want to do entertainment, so we do like the let's play stuff. And so, like, as soon as we tried to do like a bit, it was like the worst thing ever. It was like we can't act. Like we think we're entertaining people when we're just talking together, but when we're trying to like put on a show, we're like just way out of it. Like we have no idea what we're doing. I feel like the more you try to like to force it, yeah, you know.
Yeah, it's
But
yeah, we won't have many bits. We won't have characters.
I don't know. It's as far as I know, the way the podcast works is like you just kind of like the first couple episodes, you just completely wing it. Like you're just doing whatever and just talking about how you have no idea how to do a podcast,
Yeah,
and
that's,
then eventually you just slowly start adding in like little like segments. You because other people do like little music. For some reason, that's a
yeah.
weird thing where the podcasts always have like a minute worth of like music at the start of the thing, and I've never really understood that.
I could sort of get it in 1-900 Hot Dog's case because they actually commissioned the song, so I guess that's why that's
I
there.
mean, no, it's cool. Like, it's they usually have something like really neat there, but it's like after the beginning of every episode, it's like, no, I've heard it. That's fine.
My approach to that, whether it be this or any potential videos that I make, is the themes are going to be Napalm Death length. They're all
Oh,
going to be
yeah,
like
perfect.
a second and a half at maximum. So, Grunky's Adventure.
JoJo's 1, 2, 3.
Make it a Gary Gary Gay 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 song. But yeah, starting with stuff that starts with G, because they made a whole album dedicated to words that start with G. This is, I guess, Grunky's Adventure, because I couldn't come up with a better name for this.
It might come to us naturally. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Watch a streaming services make that a pain in the ass.
Oh, jeez.
So, Jojolian, which I thought was Jojo Lion for the longest time,
Right?
apparently has something to do. It's where Evangelion comes from. I think it has similar ties to that.
Oh,
But so I weirdly remember the day that I read this first chapter came out. And I remember because it's one of the few times I remember using Facebook. So,
oh,
I think
jeez.
Bob and I were talking about our friend Bob talking about it over Facebook, and I think just the memory of us being like, "Wait, we did that," is why I remember when this happened.
It seems so like foreign to us now. Like, I know I used that website at some point, and I was just like, how do people do this? I don't understand.
Yeah, me neither. But so I know that you have not read a mass majority of this, but did you read any before we started this? Before you kind of like clocked out?
Yeah, I read a little bit of it. I think I read up to the point that it had actually gotten to, like as far as it was, but that wasn't like even a quarter of the way through, I think. I remember very vague things about what I read, but for the most part this is kind of a blind thing. It's I'm trying to remember because I was thinking earlier, like this This was written around the time that the anime started, I think.
That sounds about right.
Because I remember All-Star Battle also came out around the time that, like, I think part 1 and 2 had been animated. And so, because I remember, like, there was a lot of things where the part 3 actors were, the voice actors were a lot different between the game and the anime. And then Josuke 8 was in All-Star Battle, but he had just, like, 2 references that they had to go off of. Where everything he did was just, like, he stole someone's eyesight, and he asked, "Who am I?"
And then he ate a dumpling wrong.
Oh, yeah. He ate some food and went, "This is delicious," and that was all they had to go on. And so it was this weird thing where it was like the big collection of all the JoJos, where they had one that was just brand new, so they didn't even have like a villain. So they had when they did All-Star Battle R or whatever they call it. They finally got like a villain for part 8, but then they still have the protagonist who still has all the same stuff as far as I can tell.
Yeah, it's like, I get, changing the moveset because there's competitive concerns about that. Although people point out, we have like 3 Dios, you can just make an alt version.
Right, yeah.
But, or like, actually 4, I think.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm counting Diego as a Dio.
I mean, it is, yeah.
But, yeah, so, yeah, I think all of his stuff comes from the first 10 chapters, whereas the main villain, that's when the part is basically over. So it's really weird to see the main villain interacting with a guy that's still stuck in early JoJolian mode.
Yeah, it's like they have nothing, like, with each other. Like, they don't work off each other at all. Whereas, like, there's a lot of tension between protagonists and their antagonists for the other parts. But these two, they don't even, like, it's Josuke 8 is still just like, he's just like, "Who am I?" And the guy is just like, Calamity.
Yeah, we're gonna get real tired of the word calamity near the end of this, let me tell you. But,
imagine.
But, yeah, the very start, it's called Welcome to Morio, so I wonder how people felt when that chapter released, and they're like, "Wait, Morio? Like, we're back here?"
Yeah, this was such a strange thing, because they did the... Because I'm trying to remember, I feel like I remember when Steel Ball Run started, and I think you were telling me about it before I had actually sat down and read it, like, that we weren't even sure whether or not this was still JoJo's.
Yeah.
Like, whether it was still, like, stands and whatnot, because it was just like, oh, it's Steel Ball Run. It's like, what is that? Is that just like a new thing? And then eventually it's just like, oh, it's just part 7. It's just doing JoJo's. And so they did like a weird, like, Iraqi did like a weird reboot of part 1 where they had like instead of Jonathan it's Johnny, instead of Baron it's Gyro. And now then they and then it goes to part 4, like a part 4 remake.
Yeah, kinda.
It's and again, it like again, I remember so little about this. It's one of the things that we go over in the first 4 chapters here is like Kira's name comes up.
Yeah, on page 1, basically.
It's weird. It's like it's sort of playing off of your expectations of part 4 while not being really anything similar to it at all, as far as I can tell. It's just like we have Morio, we have Josuke, and we have Kira, but none of those things are relevant to Diamond is Unbreakable. It's just those names are here because it's an alt universe or something.
Yeah, not even the alt universe that we saw at the end of Stone Ocean, which is relatively new info that I got. Because the Stone Ocean post credits universe, that's the last we see of it. It is not part of this. This is something different.
I had a feeling, yeah, because like it sort of it was going off this thing where it's like they had this thing where the people who died in Stone Ocean. I guess we should probably say outright that this is going to be like spoiler heavy.
Yeah, that'll be in the description because we're
But like,
yeah,
because like people who died in Stone Ocean, like they got like alternate forms, but people who didn't die just they were still there.
yeah.
So like anybody who didn't die during that climax is theoretically still around in that universe, that like post shift universe or whatever. So it wouldn't be like a new Josuke, it would just be Josuke. He's still alive, you know?
Yeah.
That's why, especially Rohan's apparently still around because that he gets a shout out during that. So,
well, Rocky's obsessed with that guy, so
he sees himself in him, I think. I'm not sure.
probably an exaggerate. It's just a Rocky if he was in JoJo. That's kind of how I. But yeah,
He sees himself very poorly then.
I think it's self-deprecating more than anything. But
Yeah, fair.
so I knew we had the map, but as we're talking about the references to previous parts, there is like page 1. There's like a whole bunch of them right off of the bat. Because yeah, not only do we have Morio, we have the Higashigata family house, Yasuho Hirosei's house, and Yoshikage Kira's condominium. So
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, that's
like
he just right into it.
So yeah, with that said, like I knew they were things, but I never thought of how early it gets introduced, and that's like the first thing you see.
It's just like, by the way, this is part 4. It's like, oh, okay, all right.
It's part 4, but it's really not. So yeah, we see one of those characters because one Yasuo Hirose, which I feel like people may forget that's Koichi's last name because people don't really refer to him with his last name. So
I forgot that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was trying to think like, how does she connect all of this? And it's like, oh right, okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So this whole bit is an all-star battle as well, where she's kind of hiding behind a hill. And
Oh yeah, that's like the stage in All-Star Battle is just this opening scene here with Joshu. Is that his name?
yeah, he hasn't arrived yet, but he will, to our collective dismay.
I did write a note down where I say Rocky really likes writing these like part intros where you're just like, wait, is this the first page? Like what hold on, because it's like it begins right in the middle of a thought where she's like hiding
Yeah.
and she's just like, I can't believe this happened, and it's just like, wait, hold on, huh, what? And it's like, oh, okay, that's just what he likes doing.
That, and she also says, squatting like this is making me dizzy. I'm starting to think a lot of JoJo problems JoJo people have similar problems because it makes me think of Polpo saying, whenever I eat, the blood rushes to my stomach. I'm like, I don't think that's a thing.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's how that works.
But also, I'm not sure if Polpo is human. There's a lot of just non-human things about him, so...
I think he means all the blood from his fingers that he keeps eating.
Oh, yeah, maybe. We don't see this lady eating her own fingers, thankfully, but... also, the like, introductory art has our new character just right there already. So, well, I guess, yeah, both of them do. But, it's how we find him that's very strange, because, he's just kind of in the dirt, naked, with a hat on. I like how he still has the hat on, but he's kind of half there.
He looks kind of like he's just resting. He looks very peaceful. He's like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, that was me earlier. But,
This is how I sleep.
so we get our JoJo thing where it's like the character will stop to talk about, how the location works. Because the location here is important, the story says. Talks about a river called the Ichiyo River, the Hagi Bridge, and if you cross that bridge, you go to Morio. That's really important. Write that down. We go to...
Oh, okay.
we go to how many people are in it. there's a specialty dish, and I forgot about this, and it's beef tongue pickled in miso. And to me, those sound like two completely different flavor profiles. But, I won't, Morio would know better, I guess.
Araki is very good at, like, writing down things or memorizing things that are, like, it's like 50-50 of, this is something that actually exists that I think is just an interesting anecdote that I wanted to put in my manga, and then the other half is just like, I just made up some weird-ass shit. And it's like, it's impossible to tell sometimes. Is this a real thing?
I looked it up and it is real. So,
of course, exactly.
That just makes you realize that maybe Araki's not the weird one. I don't know, just the idea of eating a tongue, it's
Araki's bizarre collection of facts. That's what this whole thing is.
It I would, you don't know how badly I want to just be in a conversation with him one day. But
he can tell you about ghosts that he felt bad for or whatever.
That one still gets me. For those that don't know, there was a story in which Rocky was sleeping, and he swears this happened, and I believe him as somebody that does not believe the paranormal. And
I believe he believes this happened, yeah.
But, he says that he saw a lady ghost, and his one thought was, I'm really not in the mood to deal with this, and the lady ghost looked very sad and left, and he's felt bad about it ever since. And like I said, I fully believe this happened to him somehow. Like, it's...
he believes it's his stand.
The sad ghost. I don't really have a music reference for that, so we'll just move on before I wonder about that for 30 minutes. So
just take some ghost music and just like play it at half speed. It's sad ghost.
Oh yeah, there we go. I forgot that band existed. So yeah, the Great Earthquake hit Morio on March 11th, and apparently that has something to do with something we saw earlier, which is like there are like these slits in the wall, or wait, no, the ground that's kind of just becoming a weird mountain.
It's like cliffs that like shoot up out of the ground is like a phenomena. Is like an earthquake caused just spires to shoot up with big holes in them.
Yeah, and they kind of look like when people make pies and they like put slits in them.
Yeah. God made a really big pie out of Morio.
This crazy delicious town. But saying, the earthquake caused these things to happen.
See, this is one of those things, like, the whole, like, earthquake thing, it's either, like, this is going to be majorly important and is going to factor into, like, a bunch of stuff, or it's just to be a weird place to start the story and then that's it. Like, I don't know.
We'll see.
So I imagine a lot of this is just like, because you've, obviously read all of this, and I didn't, and I'm just kind of going into this like, I have no idea. Like, all I know is that I know a few of the characters by name, and the villain is just like a stand, and the guy who uses the stand is barely mentioned ever, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get to him at some point.
Sometime.
Yeah. But, the weird thing is, like, I haven't read this in a while, so I thought the walleyes were just one area. It, like, fucked the whole area up. Like, it's, like, blocking, like, roads and shit. So...
Yeah, no, you get, like, this, you get this huge shot of just, like, traffic, and there's just a big wall formed in the middle of it. It's interesting. Because it seems like it would cause a lot more chaos than what is depicted in the next couple of chapters.
I think that's
It's like you should have like entire areas that are like inaccessible because of these massive walls that spiked out of the ground. But people seem like they're just like, oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah, they're used to it at this point, I guess. But yeah, now we're talking to our weird naked sailor man. It's wild that we introduce a JoJo like this.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's an extremely weird... I mean, he's the only one that's ever been like this. Like, you've never had, like, an amnesiac, like, main character in JoJo's.
Yeah. So she's talking to him, he's rising out of the ground. And then he also says something in a way that you'll see a lot of characters in this part do. Well, they'll kind of just draw out the last syllable of their line.
I was wondering about that. I kept seeing that. It's one of my notes. I was like, why does this keep happening? Is this just like the person who translated this?
No, that's
just doing that, or is that just all over this part?
That's just all over this part. Like she's like, as he's reaching towards her, she goes, "No way!"
Everyone's like singing their thoughts in this part. It's ridiculous.
I failed to mention the first thing I thought of whenever I saw Yasuho is like this hairstyle very Illuso like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's like Illuso's hair but pink and the front tails are braids. Knowing Araki, he probably just wanted to reference Illuso for some reason.
Yeah, this is alt universe Illuso, obviously.
Yeah. That's also alt universe Koichi. It's a whole thing. But
Understand his woman in the mirror.
Nah, it's just another Prince reference, of course. But yeah, around this birthmark, there's a bite mark there, and that's all I'm gonna say because I don't remember where that goes.
Yeah, that happens a lot too, where you're just like, I vaguely remember this, but I don't remember where the hell it leads. I don't even know if it comes back up. That's because I think I wrote that down too. I was just like, I don't know if this is going to come back, but I'm writing this down just to see.
Yeah, it's a maybe put a pin in it, but maybe like remove it at some point.
It might be another thing that Araki forgot about himself. That's what I'm kind of wondering. But I think he's a lot better about it nowadays, but I remember like some of the, like the part 4 stuff is just like, man, he just came up with ideas and then just dropped them whenever he didn't feel like he wanted to use them.
Yeah. As she's panicking, she's worried that this freak with a bad bowl cut isn't here yet. We'll find out who he is in a couple of seconds. Or maybe a couple of minutes, because he's still not here. So she's calling the cops.
Actually, yeah, the entire thing started with her being like, she was trying to avoid him, and now she's like, why isn't he here? Just picked up that it's just like, I hate this guy. Why doesn't he go away? Shit, where is he?
Yeah, I don't know if that was a mistranslation or what, but or they're just playing hide and seek. I don't know. It could just be they with either of them. I don't know.
With that guy, it's just hide.
Yeah, exactly. So she makes the observation that the teeth marks look human rather than animal-like. I'll take your word for it. I guess I don't see fangs, but
it's one of those things. Like I like nobody is making that observation. You look at that and you go like, "Oh, that's a fucking bite mark, all right. What the hell?"
So
that doesn't look good.
In true Josuke 8 fashion, we should probably mention that that is the name All-Star Battle gave to him, and that's the name we just kind of refer to him as.
Yeah, I don't have I remember like people called him Gappy. That's all I got.
Which is pretty good, but
yeah,
that is a very fan nickname. I hate to admit it, but some of these shots, I'm kind of getting the SpongeBob comparisons with this guy. Like, he's got, like, the fucking sailor hat and the teeth and everything, and he's kind of just an idiot for the most part. But yeah, his
I don't know if this ever happened in the show, though.
I hear those later seasons get weird.
Fair.
So his first line is asking who, if Yasuo Hirose is his name, that falls in line with most of his dialogue in these early parts, is, who am I? Who are you? And, yeah, then he says...
I just like, real quick before we go too far, I just like this part where she, like, dials the police, and then she's like, this isn't the police, it's the fire department? I must have dialed the wrong number. It's like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Like, why did she do that?
Panic, I guess. I don't know.
It's such a weird detail to just throw in there. Like, she's panicked, so she dialed the wrong number. It's like, okay. Sure.
My rule of thumb is that if that seems super specific, it's probably because of something Araki himself actually did at one point. So,
I believe that, yeah.
although later on, we learned that Araki hates the cops, so as he should. But not in this part. It's more part 9, but we have a ways to go there.
Right.
So then he asks, then who am I? What am I doing here? And then he sinks. like the way it's styled, it looked like he tried to drown himself. But I don't...
It looks to me like he forgot how to hold his head up for a second. He's just like, oh, how does this work again? Burying my face in this water doesn't feel good. I should probably stop doing it.
He's kind of more like a puppy right now.
I mean, she does compare him to one later on.
That is true, yeah. So she pulls him out. Then she sees a bubble in the phone. Or, no, I should say bubble in the photo she took with the phone, not... Or her phone is melting or anything. I also like, the other discovery, which is she introduces it with, oh boy, this boy isn't wearing anything down below either. He's seriously buck naked.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where we get the... oh, wait, no, she doesn't address it yet. She's just kind of, like, looking at him.
Another line that I like here is just, like, should I keep touching him? Like, I get what she means. It's just like, is it okay to, like, keep interacting with him? But it was just like, I thought it was like a weird way to say, like, I could try pulling him out, but I don't know if I should keep doing that.
I kind of get her anxiety there, but it's also like, this is a guy that's like drowning, so you should probably hoist him up. So, she doesn't seem very well composed. I'll put it that way.
She's very freaked out about this guy. It's not like, oh, someone's in trouble. It's just like, there's a guy, but he's naked.
Well, he's naked and also he has a weird bite mark, and it's making weird bubbles show up in pictures she takes of him, and there's a lot going on. But
it is a lot. I'll give you that.
But now we have the other fucking dude. Who I forgot that she names him like as soon as he shows up. Joshu Higashigata. Good old Joshua.
Right.
So he introduces himself by immediately crying and picking up a rock. And, his, as he advances, he says, of course with the emphasis, why? How could this happen? Just try to come up with an excuse. How could you do that to my Yasuho? I don't know what he's... he doesn't seem to be doing anything. So, I think he just...
I don't know what this fucking dude... Like, I remembered that this dude sucks.
Yeah.
And reading this again, it's like he's barely in these first 4 chapters, but this dude sucks.
Yeah.
It's like, he's like this creepy, obsessive guy who is, I guess, friends with this girl, but
yeah.
Like, they, like, live near each other or something, and he's just like, I'm her childhood friend, there go, like, anything that happens to her, I'm gonna freak out about. It's like, dude, she's just like, go away. I don't care about you.
Yeah, she literally says, Since when am I his Yasuo? I told you I don't like you, Joshu. I seriously hate him. He's such an idiot. Which is accurate. So he's about to bash this guy's brains in. He hits her out of the way, which I forgot.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's one of the reasons this dude sucks.
Yeah, him and his shitty bow tie. Also his hair, which looks much different than where we end up getting used to later, which is kind of another Rocky staple for some characters.
Yeah, he has like a bowl cut or something, doesn't he?
Yeah, normally, but here he has like... You know that edit of Brendan Fraser people were making and it had the caption, "Just fuck me up," and his like eyes were red and his hair was all messed up? His hair looks alarmingly like early Jojo. But,
wow.
So yeah, he's trying to attack him. He...
Then they have a weird ass engagement that is like really hard to make out in panel form.
Joshi does like a kickboxing knee to the gut. Then while crying, he's about to hit him with the rock and says, shit, ugh, I can't take it. I can't hold back my feelings. So that thing about Yasuo being not well composed, she's fine. But there's a bubble on him. Then he says, as he's about to make the kill, "I'll kill you and then myself," which is great.
I wrote that down because I'm like, what the fuck?
He's just,
what?
I don't know.
Like, what the fuck is going on with this guy? I mean, I don't actually care, because I just want him to go away.
Yeah. His eyes go away. I remember that page when I saw it because it kind of freaked me out.
I mean...
like, it doesn't look like his eyes just disappear, like they pop out of his head. But, like,
it looks like they got torn out, but there's just no blood or anything. It's just there's a void where his eyes should be.
Yeah, it's very gross. I forgot how gross this was. He also says, I forgot about this, "My eyes are... something was taken away from me." And he's not the only character that says that under the effects of this, I guess, as of now, unnamed stand.
Yeah, one of my notes is just like, one of the weaknesses of this stand is it makes the person you're using it on say, "Something has been taken from me." Because that happens again in, like, Chapter 3.
Yeah. It's, I don't know, is that the stand speaking through them, or...
It's such a weird thing. It's like, I get that, you know, they're reacting to something happening, but it is such a weird thing to be like, my eyes are gone. Something has been taken from me. And it's like, you mean your eyes? Because your eyes are gone? Yes, your eyes were taken from you. That yes.
Well, maybe I can't check because I can't see.
I can't look at my own eyes to find out.
So Josuke rocks his shit with a gut punch. I recognize that punch being from the game as well, which makes Joshu puke and then be relieved that he puked, and then he passes out. He has his eyes back as soon as the gut punch happens, by the way. Not really sure how that works, but...
Yeah, his eyes returned to him so quickly that he vomited up his internal... his lunch.
Yeah. And I love the shot where Josuke's just on the ground, Joshu's peeking on the ground, and Yasuo's just like, okay. Like,
she's just kind of like, It's that fucking Emporio thing where he's just standing there, he's just like, what?
Yeah, she does have kind of an Emporio thing going on in terms of the, I mean, like, her, Koichi, and Emporio, they kind of have a Venn diagram thing going on, I feel.
Yeah, they're the confused supporting character.
So then she says, this is a story about breaking a curse.
Oh, this bit. This
yeah,
is such a weird thing. It's like, here is, like, an incredibly specific piece of history, or just, like, a really, really broad description that is a lot easier for people to digest. It's like, you could have started with that one.
Yeah, like, she basically talks about, you know, what causes a curse and how to fix it, but she'll just go into ancient Japanese history. But, yeah, they're both passed out, and she's, yeah, okay, here's where we get it. She very dramatically says, "Let me just confess, I know it's not something I know much about at all," which is kind of a weird way to... Anyway, I'm not quite sure how to say it, but I saw those. Maybe after the ambulance gets here, I should have the doctors check. Seriously, what do I do? What do I say? At his crotch, there were 4. I'm sure of it. His balls, he had 4.
I like, for the first half of that, I was just like, oh, is she referring to, like, seeing the bubble or whatever, so she could see the weird stand power? And then she's like, he had 4 balls. I'm like, oh, I was way off.
His genitals, I'm glad that she cleared that up. He only had 1 penis, but he had 2 times 2 balls. I don't know why she made it mathematical.
I love 2x2 balls. That's incredible.
That can't be true, right? The image is burned into my eyes. Maybe I'm better off not saying anything. I wouldn't. That would just be weird to tell people that. Like, it's like, hey, take a look for yourself if you don't believe me. The funny thing is that actually makes sense, but we'll get to it.
Right.
So we're on to chapter 2. Oh, wait, the stand's named here. Soft and Wet, which is, surprise, surprise, a Prince song.
He has an undershirt that just says "row, row, row, row."
I think that may... He has aura, 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 and re on it.
Okay, it's just JoJo's.
Yeah. My name is...
I'm sideways.
Yeah, for some reason, he's naked and sideways. It takes a while for him to have clothes. Where am I? So he's in a hospital. Okay, so we're getting to the part that never gets talked about, and I can't get over it. So he wakes up...
I wrote some stuff on this, too, because I was like, what the fuck is this panel?
So...
Where it's like... So he's like, yeah, he's like looking around and he's like making just random observations because he's very, confused. And then there's a little girl walks by and she's like, "Mommy, mommy." And then a slightly larger looking girl, like, who is wearing the same clothes and has the same hair, and then one like twice as tall as her. They all have the same hair and the same clothes, and then he looks at that and he's like, "Is she getting bigger? Am I going to start getting bigger?" And it's like, dude.
There's so many things to unpack here. Like, because, like, the family that has the unified style is one thing. Like,
I guess I can see his confusion, because it is very weird that these 3 siblings, one might be the mother. They just look the same, but they're different ages. It's very weird.
It's like cute in a very strange way. I don't know how to really describe it. It's just, it feels like, just again, like Araki's really good at just making nameless side characters that show up for 2 panels, but you wonder what the hell their deal is, because you never find out.
There's an entire story written right there in that one panel.
Exactly, yeah. Also, yeah, I like the wording, "Am I going to get bigger from how I am now?" That felt very Silver Case to me.
I guess yes, but not in the way that those clone children are.
Yeah. Right, yeah, okay. Okay, he's talking about birds, that's why he said that. I should have figured. So...
Oh, yeah, the varied tits, yeah.
Yeah, and he seems to... The weird thing is he can figure out precise heights of things. Like, he doesn't know how growing up works, but he can instantly figure out that these varied tits are around 14 centimeters tall. To the point where he's like, that one is 14.5 centimeters, and the one next to it is 14.0 centimeters. The thing that...
You know how, like, whenever you lose one of your senses, the other ones become stronger? He lost some of his memories, so his, like, ability to measure things at a blink became just like super powered.
Not to mention the you can identify types of animals because he immediately figured out that butterfly was a Nymphalidae butterfly. The name of the tree the very tits are perched on is a Japanese alder. Wait, it is 9 meters 25 centimeters in height, and I know that person as well. I missed that line. I don't know what he's talking about.
I think he's like just moving on to Yasuo here, like walking in.
Yeah.
But it's like because it's in the same box, it's like which person? The person in the tree? It's a bird.
Yeah, there's a character in Aqua Teen called the Tree Wizard. Maybe he's talking about that guy. Yeah, he talks about Yasuo, immediately figures out how tall she is, and he, like another pseudo character I'm familiar with, for some reason he's sleeping under the hospital bed. She freaks out, of course, and his response to that is to do a really doofy grin.
He's just like, yep, this is what I do.
So, he is actually confused at her confusion that he's sleeping under the bed. And he asks, do people sleep on top? How do they put pressure on their body if they do that? Which...
This is such a weird thing. It's like, he has an encyclopedic knowledge of, like, animals and trees and shit. He doesn't remember who he is, but he also doesn't know how sleeping works, I guess. Like, he's like a weird alien who's been studying this planet, but also doesn't remember who he is.
It's almost like if Miki Taka became our protagonist. Which,
yeah,
I hope that spinoff happens one day. But, yeah, she's talking about how she's visiting Joshu. I don't know why he would. I forgot...
I do like how she just kind of dismisses that. She's like, wait, pressure? Well, I guess that's okay anyway.
Yeah, I guess that's like if they're, you know, there's like, I'm fine down here, it's like, okay.
Yeah, sure. I've got nothing to say to that, I guess. You do you.
Yeah. So I forgot, I read this fairly recently, this bit. She talks about how Joshu is, quote, a first-year sociology major with 0 social skills. So that's something.
He sounds great.
He gets out of the bed, which pulls his pants off, somehow. And then she proceeds to say, or she proceeds to think, 4, 1 rod, but 2x2. Like, I love that she keeps stylizing it like that.
She is just so traumatized by this guy's nutsack.
It must have looked really grotesque or something. This seems like an overreaction.
The sack.
I forgot about that. No way, not to my parents, the doctors, or anyone. But Josuke, thankfully steers the conversation away from his goody bits, to ask what these dumplings are. And I really want these now. Because apparently they're sesame honey dumplings. But for snacks, there's a weirdly specific way to eat them, which leads to a taunt that Josuke would have in All-Star Battle. I forgot what this was all about until I reread this. But apparently these things are filled with sauce, so you bite into them with their back teeth. I've never encountered a snack like that, but and Josuke immediately doesn't do that, and he bites into it and squirts sauce all over the place.
Because of the gap in his front teeth, I guess.
Oh yeah.
I feel like he just makes a huge mess and goes, "These are delicious." It's like 90% of the sauce just went all over the fucking counter. He's just like, "This is great. I love it."
It's funny because in All-Star Battle, it just looked like he ripped his tooth out for no reason. Like, it's really strange looking. But there's a really good comedic bit where she's like, okay, you're gonna eat another one? Okay, back teeth. Back teeth. And he's like, yeah, right, got it. Back teeth, because you can't use your front teeth. Yeah. And then he just immediately does it again.
I like how this time it cracks her up, though. This time she's just like, oh, this is fucking stupid. I love this.
I mean, honestly, if I was in the room with him, I would just give him a whole pack of that just to see it. We're not paying for this room. Oh, wait, yeah, we are, I think. I don't know. But actually, who is paying for that? That's a...
Yeah, they have no one to send the bill to, so,
who's paying for this? I don't know. Who are you? I'm gonna try that next time if I ever end up in the ER for something.
Yeah, the lady at the front desk is just like, who are you? And he's just like, I know your measurements. And she's like, all right, that's great. What? Who? What?
Basically, also goes down that there was a missing person report that they thought was him, but none of his records match. Which again, kind of becomes I forgot about this little monologue. After she talks about that, he kind of stares, and then he says, I can read numbers and characters and that sort of thing, and I can tie my shoelaces. I know that this is a cup and there's water in it. I know about Tokugawa Ieyasu and Edison and people like that. But I don't know anything about myself. So yeah, it's really weird reading this with hindsight, because a lot of these lines do kind of make sense way later on.
Right, yeah.
What my name is, what my favorite flower is, whether I'm a sailor or not.
I'm dressed like a sailor, but that doesn't really mean anything.
Then he hugs her, and for some reason immediately, says her height again.
He's obsessed with, like, measurements. It's very weird.
Then he very mournfully says, I don't know anyone else in this whole world. And then immediately a scene I swear I've seen from a 5-second film occurs. Because
one of my notes is just like, this part is, like, absurdly perverted, like, already. It's very weird for JoJo's.
It doesn't stay like that, but this is a very... Araki must have just watched, like, There's Something About Mary or something before he wrote this. That'll be this episode, There's Something About Josuke. Yeah, so basically he just gets a fucking boner for some reason, and it hits her. I did... I wanted to zoom in,
like,
his stone cold...
It's hitting me,
It's hitting me, damn it, jeez. And he looks completely stone-faced. It doesn't even look
like, I don't understand anything.
It doesn't even look like a boner. It just looks like he has something very pointy in his pocket or something.
It looks to me like she's being ejected by just standing up all of a sudden.
So they make the very smart decision of being like, well, you wear a hat. That had to come from somewhere, so we can go ask where that came from. But before that, they have to bypass the people in white.
Right. I feel like it's from the Steel Ball Run Foundation.
Oh yeah, what? Yeah, I don't remember anything like that. I don't remember Steel Ball Run. She does another emphasis thing where she's talking about the shopkeep owner, and she says, he might remember selling it to you, maybe. So we have another fuck the police bit, because he's gonna make that police lady go away.
In a very weird fashion.
Yeah. So he sends a bunch of bubbles out at her, and then she... God, I forgot how grotesque this is.
Yeah.
A bunch of, like, holes just perforate from her body, and water just gushes out of her. And then she says, I'm so thirsty. Great Sports Max reference there. It feels like something has been taken from me. Water. I need some water. So, that bit I kind of get, because, like, if that happened and I couldn't tell, it's like something happened here. I don't know what, but...
I think I would be concerned about all the water on my clothes, but, you know...
Yeah, I couldn't really figure out how, like... I know there's a whole thing where it's like, if you're not a stand user, you can't see what's going on, but, like, that water has to, like, come out of you.
It feels very much like, early on, the concept of what the stand does is just like, let's just make it look really cool, and not think too hard about, like, the logistics of it. And then just later on, we'll use it in a lot more sensical fashion, but right now it's just to create these weird-ass visuals of, like, the lady with the fucking Swiss cheese face.
I mean, it works because I remember that shot very vividly. So, and then she just gets a drink and she's fine. So he didn't really do anything to her. He just kind of, like, drained her for a bit, and she's like, I'm gonna, like, go get a drink, and then, he's fine. Or she's fine. Why do I keep getting these mixed up?
Oh, yeah, and then...
Just
Asshat is in the hospital.
I was looking at Josuke's hat, and he said ass hat, and I was like, that's just a sailor hat. So yeah, they get out, and Joshu does a lot of the emphasis thing. This can't be true, Yasuho. There's gotta be some mistake. Didn't she say she was just some guy she helped out? He gets it. Oh, he got bitten. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, I have no idea where that's leading.
I think I do, but I'm not entirely sure because that's just how this part goes. And of course, he's like, I got more sesame dumplings. That means she likes me more. Not realizing that's probably just her way of getting him to fuck off. But,
yeah, and then he just... What, does he pass out? I don't even know what's going on here.
He's like, I've been in this situation myself a couple of times where, like, you just get, like, a snack you're really excited to eat, but you're so sick you're still in bed and you just kind of fall asleep instead of eating them. That's kind of what he does. I'll treasure eating the sesame honey. Grumble, grumble, grumble.
He's yeah, there's a lot of grumble. Very weird word bubbles there.
So they go to this hat shop, Steel Ball Run. It's just SPR.
I don't know.
So they talk to the store man, who's... He's not even really that unusual looking. It's just his hairstyle that really throws me off, because he...
Oh, yeah. He has a marker drawn in the front of his fucking scalp.
He's just like a bald guy with a slightly tall head that, yeah, just has scribble hair.
Very strange.
He immediately remembers that he sold it to Josuke 3 days ago. And there's a bit where the Scantalations did something here where, like, she's trying to, like, fluff up the shopkeeper, but for some reason her dialogue is in different font for this part.
Oh, yeah. I was having hard trouble reading this.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
So, she says, "Oh, shopkeeper, you're so incredibly awesome. You model charismatic shopkeeper. You're seriously so great. I like you." And he has the appropriate response of being very confused, but also kind of flustered. Just like, I've been in that situation where you're just like, thanks for the compliment, but also I'm very confused.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So he... Oh yeah, I forgot that he's like, oh yeah, sorry if this is Ford, but like, what is happening?
It's like, could you please tell me what the fuck you're doing?
I love it when normal people have to react to JoJo characters in JoJo. It's so good.
It's pretty good, yeah.
So he goes to the order form for the hat and pulls up the name Yoshikage Kira. So,
This part is so weird because, like, almost immediately they just kind of go like, "Yeah, but you're not him. Like, we're just gonna call you Josuke instead." It's like they're like, "Okay, this is probably your name, but I don't like calling you that, so I'm gonna call you a different name instead." It's very strange. It's like I get why they're doing it because obviously he's not Kira,
yeah.
but that's like meta knowledge. Like it's very unexplored as far as why these characters would act that way.
Yeah, I guess it's also a thing where, like, I don't remember if this is how he reacts to it, but he's just kind of like, that name doesn't really, like, fit me. I want something different, maybe, but...
It happens in the next couple of pages, I think, so...
Oh, I see. Okay. So this shot where he's like, that's my name, I forgot that we have a ton of cameos in the form of hats in this shot. Because in the back there's Jotaro's hat. On the rack behind them, it's, again, Josuke's hat again, but Johnny and Gyro's hats are there. I think I spot Emporio to the side.
Yeah, I see Emporio's hat.
And for some reason, that shot of Yasuho close up really reminds me of Aluzo a lot. I don't know why, but... That's like...
It's an intense stare she's got.
Yeah, I think it just reminds me of Aluzo before he got fucked up by Purple Haze, maybe. But,
before he melted, yeah.
Yeah. She thankfully does not melt. I'll put that fear down.
Thank God.
Yeah. So she's all like, hooray, you're Kira. Then... Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, they go to the apartment. Man, I might have to use manga decks, because, like, I remember what happens, but I don't remember the sequences of what happens.
Right.
I thought of a nickname for you, in case we didn't find your name right away. Okay, yeah, she does say, like, Yoshikage doesn't really fit you. You look more of a Josuke, because your face looks a little like my dog Josuke. So,
his response to that is, dog?
It kind of reminds, like, I sort of get what she's saying, because there are some people that's, like, you can kind of see it. Like, I think Snoop Dogg is, it's funny, because he becomes weirdly relevant later. But, Snoop Dogg is not, like, a bad-looking guy, but also, like, when he, in that video where he transforms into, like, I forget what the dog breed is, you're like, okay, I can see the resemblance, though. Like, the kind of more slender, tall dog. I can't, it might have been a Doberman, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But when I looked at the Doberman and him, I'm like, yeah, he kind of looks like a Doberman. Like, again, not an insult. It's just kind of weird how, like, you know, things can share features. So,
right, yeah. It is sort of weird because he doesn't have really any sort of input on that, though. Where it's like, he's just like, she's like, I had a nickname for you. He's like, but you know my name now.
Well, it's funny because his response to that is just saying, dog.
So he's very just muted in the whole, like, well, let's just give him the name Josuke because we know it's, you know, he's the main character.
He's been very quiet ever since the name thing came out, which I guess makes sense. So they go to the apartment building, Tsusuji Gaoka, which just sounds like the name of a person rather than an apartment building.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So she looks for a spare key of the room, and there's a really weird bit where, like, he's like, there's no way a spare key will be hidden on top of the door, and then it is, and he just goes, it was there?
There's a lot of great faces in this page here. But it's also very funny to me that, like, they just kind of assume that this is where he lives and that's who he is. So they're like, let's just let ourselves in. It's just like this can't go wrong.
And she's just like, that's so insecure, and he's like, what, me? I guess this is my house. I don't know.
It's like you're being insulted, but you're not even sure if it's actually you or not.
So she tries on the clothes in the apartment. They fit him perfectly. But then there's somebody in the room, and all what happens here, like, I remember, it's like, when I remembered upon rereading where this goes, my brain just kind of, like, flooded with this whole sequence, because I'm like, oh yeah, this part.
Yeah. I remember a fair bit of this. I especially remember the name of the stand because it's pretty funny.
Yeah. It's funny, we're on to chapter 3, and we have this whole cliffhanger of somebody being in the room, but he's just like, oh, these clothes are perfect. But who am I, though? We'll be getting that question a lot. We have...
This fucking shot of the Mona Lisa and a hand statue, it's like...
It looks like she's planning something.
She looks guilty. She's like, I didn't do anything. It wasn't me. And the hand's like, it was her. It was her.
So they're hearing a bunch of sounds upstairs.
Oh, that happens a lot in this chapter, yeah.
Also, yeah, I forgot about the detail where his pantry is full of wasabi and canned peas. It's all he eats, supposedly. Oh, yeah. And then they go into the bathroom, and there's just some lady in the tub. So, yeah, it's,
I like how he didn't even look around first. He just kind of went in, messed with the faucet, and it was just like, oh, hey, there's a naked lady.
And her reaction is just kind of like, hey, how you doing? Just chilling here. We'll find out she's not chilling, though.
Him. 3 meters, 40 centimeters ahead, there's a girl.
There's a woman in the tub. There's a what in the tub? Like, I guess this is very strange circumstances anyway, but she seems really confused at the idea of a lady being in a tub in this place. Like,
she's like, we just walked into this house, and there's somebody bathing. It's ridiculous. This is absurd.
She steps out. I forgot how much nudity is in these parts, but...
Yeah. I do like she walks in, they just look each other over, and they're just like, excuse me.
I get it, though. Like, you're like, wait, I shouldn't be here. Why is there a naked woman in there? You're asking me? I have no idea.
She slips out, and she's just like, hey, why is there a naked woman in the tub?
Then she gets weird.
She's bathing.
She gets really annoyed that he doesn't remember anything, which I found very strange. Like,
yeah.
Excuse me again. I'm also here saying I'm totally not this guy's friend or anything. What?
I love that the woman has not said anything yet. Like, it's very unusual that she just isn't speaking, even after knowing what happens.
So she asks, are you this guy's girlfriend? She looks really annoyed, but then advances towards them, and then says, help me, please.
She has these, like, power symbols on her hands and feet.
Yeah. And she's knocking shit over? But also, she's like...
Please don't get up when you're buck naked.
Wait, where's that part? Oh, yeah, that's... Please don't get up. She doesn't really have many options.
I like how the woman's approaching her, and she's, like, freaked out by it. It's like, whoa, you're walking over here and you're naked?
I think she just may be intensely asexual. Like, just any... like, this is uncomfortable and everything, but if this happened to me, I'd be like, there are more important things going on than the fact that this lady has boobs.
I know, yeah, she's like, this is like a very unusual circumstance, and she's just like, but you're naked. It's like, dude, you've got bigger problems.
And then...
Did you just say help me? With what?
Then it looks like... It looks like she's almost like drowning above land, which I forgot how unsettling that is. Then he puts on, Josuke puts on slippers, which are full of tacks.
This is like the prank version of the Saw house.
in the slippers, there are tacks. Put them on, it'll be really cool. This is my mid-podcast shout-out to Real Last Save Saw House series. Please watch it, it's great. One of the things that gets knocked over is a collection of toenails, so that is... Or either toenails or fingernails, I'm not sure. But, yeah, that's another thing that Kira did. I don't think this ever comes up again other than remember when Kira did this.
Oh, I thought this was going to be, like, really important that Kira is just here again.
Yeah, that would be funny if this was just Kira again.
This is one of my favorite bits, though, because, like, they're looking at these nails, and he's just, like, freaking out, while this woman is just like, please help me, and she looks terrified, and then Yasuo immediately goes like, hey, look, photo album.
Yeah.
Here's some pictures. It's like, lady, what the fuck?
We'll get to Yasuo's reaction in a second. Yeah, it's... I forgot what I was going to say. But, yeah, she freaks out upon seeing what's in the album. And she's like, I wish I hadn't come here. It's dirty. I thought you were a good person. Get away from me. And then she leaves, and we see what's in the photo album. And it's like... This kind of supports my intensely asexual thing with Yasuo. Because it just looks like a lady in bondage.
Yeah, it looks pretty just like, it's personal, but like, she's just like, I'm insanely prudish. I will not have any of this sexual shit anywhere near me.
Yeah, it's a very major overreaction, I feel.
Yeah, because she fucking leaves the place and she just storms off. It's like...
It's like, this is a pretty common thing to be into.
But also, like, the circumstance as it is, like, there is still a lady over there who's just like, help, and she's just like, ew, like, bondage? I'm out?
And it's funny because we cut back to her, she's just like, fine. So I guess the above ground drowning stopped. But he, of course, goes into, who are you? I want to figure out what happened to me, whoever I am. I don't know you. I'm going to get some answers out of you. Who the hell are you? That pointing taunt is also an all-star battle.
No, it's, who the hell are you?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Then she starts talking, like, kind of sinisterly, supported by the fact that it zooms in on her face and we get the do-do-do-do-do, which is how you know shit's about to get real. And she says, what's all this you're going on about now? Or didn't you come here to save me? Like...
Yeah, she's kind of sassy now, just like, hey,
And then... Wait, what happens here? I'm, like, looking over, like, I'm trying to get the visuals, but, Oh, okay, they threw a bottle... wait, what? Oh, wait, okay, so he trips and cuts himself on the glass from the, nail jars.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's...
And...
the visuals are kind of hard to see sometimes.
Yeah, because it looked like whoever was in it, like... Whoever's upstairs threw the bottle at them somehow, but...
Yeah, it looks like something fell from the ceiling, but he just somehow gets his hand cut. It's weird.
She seems pretty locked in as to how all this works.
But she isn't, like, explaining anything. Like, it takes her a while to, like, really get into it. She's very passive for, like, being a captive to this stand.
Yeah, we sort of find out why that is later, but for right now, she says we need to run, and she does this little hand motion at him that shows the symbols on her hands more closely. And then he has one of the symbols on his foot. Then she explains, I have them on both of my hands and feet. You don't have a symbol on all of them yet, so we should get out of here. You still got your right leg. That doesn't really seem like a whole lot you can work with in this situation, but, just kind of like hop like fucking, Kiyoshiro from Samurai Showdown out of the house somehow. So then we're on to chapter 3. And I forgot. I remembered this first page because this has like a Togashi level of just text vomit.
Yeah, it's. I think the first 2 boxes of these ladies talking is like the same thing twice.
Yeah. So, yeah, Yasuho's friends come up. Shocking spoiler, we'll never see these 2 again. So the one lady says, hey, you want to go to that dessert shop that has long messages boasting about how good their food is? And then the lady next to her just says the same thing again.
But what a weird thing, too, is, like, you want to go to that dessert shop with a really, like, long advertisement? Like...
They explain what the desserts are, and I'm very confused about one of them. So, they talk about first kiss under a starry sky cherry pie, made with plentiful ripe cherries cultivated carefully using the dropping of free-range chickens. Oh, wait, okay, I get what it is now. The free-range chickens supply the fertilizer that grow the cherries, I guess? But, wait, I don't think cherries are grown like that, though. Well, anyway, they I like how this restaurant identifies who raised the chickens. Raised with love by Sugawara-san from Tendo in Yamagata Prefecture. 840 yen, you will be sure to find happiness and stuff. So,
is this like an advertisement that plays like 24/7 in their brains? Like, why do they memorize all of this?
And 840 yen, $5 for. I would expect that to be way more expensive, but maybe they're lying. Then there's sweet and slightly bitter fragment of youth creme brulee made with milk from the Jersey cattle of Yoshimura-san from Morioka in Iwate Prefecture, which are raised on tons of farmland grass that grows soaking in the rays of the sun, which is even cheaper. And then she ends that with, you'll be sure to find happiness and stuff.
This is a page. This is a page in a manga.
Araki, like, what I learned about JoJo is that there will be parts where Araki just gets really hungry, and he decides to express that on the page. Because reading this page, I would fuck up a cherry pie right now.
Hell yeah.
Then they look at the menu. I forgot they show the food. That cherry pie is, like, really... It looks like a bar, but with a bunch of cherries on it.
Yeah. Is that a pie, or is that just, like...
It's like a
bread with fruit on it?
I think it's like a flat croissant with, like, the cherry filling on top, which, I would try that.
Yeah, I mean, sure. It looks edible. I've never seen anything like it.
They keep saying you'll be sure to find happiness and stuff like that. I think this may just be Beavis and Butthead. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, they like these 2 very quirky girls who show up to just keep repeating each other. And then she's just like, yeah, I'm not really in the mood. They're like, okay, bye.
They seem cool. I would hang out with them.
They seem fine, but it's just like, why did that happen?
And then when they leave, she makes this very intense glare to the side and then just starts crying. And
She experiences emotions.
Yeah, like very quickly. So we have little flashbacks to what happened, including the "it was there" panel, which I find really funny.
Oh, yeah.
His character was...
And him eating the food badly.
Yeah. Fond memories.
I like the way they worded the crying sound here. Just weh.
Weh. Ha. But, yeah. So she's like, she was disturbed by the photos because it didn't seem like something in line with his character. Which again, there are plenty of people like him that are into that shit. It's fine. Like, these photos having a character that would collect and enjoy that kind of cruelty. It's like, I know what is actually happening, but on the surface, it's like, you are just assuming that whenever this happens, it's like real. Like,
yeah. She's like, she seems very sheltered with this reaction.
Yeah, it's
Although I'm starting to realize, like, one of these photos is a picture of... It's like someone gagged, and then there's, like, Josuke is, like, looming over her from what looks like another floor.
Oh, I didn't even see that. I thought that was just, like, a photo behind that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I thought it was, like, a memory of him looking from... in the, like, within the bathroom where she's, like, behind the, looking at the photo album, and he's, like, behind it. But no, like, that seems to be part of the picture?
Huh. He has an interesting framing, I'll give him that.
Like, I just don't know what's going on there.
And he's just like, I am not like this. Thank you very much. I am not a 163 centimeter pervert. Then he reaches for a towel, and she's goes, "Don't touch that towel," and the towel has a bunch of needles in it.
It's like horrifying and yet comedic at the same time.
That's what Araki
it's like,
does.
There's something like slapsticky about this going on. It's just like, oh, the towel's got needles in it.
I mean, in hindsight, I imagine a fair bit of Saw could be considered slapstick too. But
In a way.
I'll never forget the fucking what was it, like the fucking curtain of shotguns. That still cracks me up. It's like, how did this guy die? It's like he tripped a wire that made a bunch of shotguns hanging from the ceiling go off. It's like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the one of the worst ways you could shoot somebody with a shotgun is directly downward.
Yeah.
Like, as long as they're standing in this exact spot, like, yeah, the buckshot's gonna get them.
So she kind of explains how the stand works. As long as you don't have that many taken from you, you just don't want them standing directly above you. If they stand just above you, it's over.
Like, she just says 4.
So
There's a lot going on with 4 in this so far.
Something about the way she words this while it's happening. She goes back into the tub and she goes, let me just tell you this first. I don't want to go in the bath.
I don't know how to say this, but I wish I wasn't in the bathtub right now.
And then she drowns again, and he looks nonplussed about it. Like, you have a weird way of getting into the bath, but each their own, I guess.
Like, doesn't she explain, like, yeah, like, you'll lose control if you have the 4 marks or whatever?
Yeah. And
so he's just like, she starts doing that, she's like, I'm not sure why I'm doing this, and he's like, this is very weird, why are you doing this? It's like, don't they both get this by now?
I'm pretty sure she gets it. I don't think he's catching on yet. Because, like...
He's like, hey, you're drowning, aren't you? Like, no shit.
She's like, yeah, fucking obviously. Did you listen to anything I told you? So... She, for some reason, is very heavy, so he can't get her out. And then he... he starts moving very strangely. He's like...
Oh, yeah, this weird shot where he, like, grabs his own neck, and I was like, wait, what is going on here?
And then he just kind of, like, tumbles in... Wait, it looks like he's about to tumble into the tub, and he never gets in there? So he takes a very long time to realize he could just pull the plug. Oh, then again, I think his arms are controlled, so I don't know, but, she dumps, some backstory after almost drowning for the second time. She says, I live in Tokyo, I was on a trip to Morio, and I was kidnapped. I don't know how many days have gone by at this point. 3 days ago, you were here too, weren't you? Well, you know part of it, I guess. The person upstairs is mad. He's seriously gonna kill us.
I can't tell if she means, like, crazy or just upset. He is really mad at us for breaking into his house, and,
Probably both. So it turns out the stopper chain of the plug, it was sharpened into razors.
Yeah. I like how, like, kind of muted his reaction is. Like, he looks, like, a little anxious about it, but it's just like, this is kind of unusual. That thing is just covered in razors, and my hand's completely cut up.
It's one of those things where, like, you're just kind of calm through complete disbelief. Like, just like, oh, the stopper chain. Great.
Like, the word bubble here, is this my work? No, that guy's different.
I wouldn't be clever enough to do that.
Why of all times would he start, like, drawing out syllables in this scenario?
But then she repeats, yeah, 4 get taken, there will be no escape. She's saying that a lot. I'm starting to notice.
It feels like they're really hammering this point home, and I'm just like, I get it. Like, I get it.
Say my name. Am I Yoshikage Kira? And she goes, what are you talking about? And then he gets really pissed, and he's like, just say my name. She's like, I don't know.
I don't know who the fuck you are.
She does, like, kind of a swimsuit pose here while she's explaining, 3 days ago you were in this room, but you went somewhere. Didn't you come back to save me? And then she grabs her tongue and gets a razor, and I know this doesn't happen, but I hate this sequence. His response to her pulling out a razor is, hey, you're not, you are. It's just, so he's trying to fight the razor from her. He eventually does it. She explains that she is bait, essentially.
I like the panel of her just going, ah.
She goes, ah. Wait, no, she goes, he, then goes, he, ah. And then he, and then ah. I mean, I not that I can blame her, but
Did she explains the power again?
Yeah.
It's like, here's the symbol. It's like, I get it. I fucking get it.
Then he, like, almost slashes himself with the razor, I think.
Oh yeah, his hand is being controlled. I feel like the shot of him just on the ground, and it's like comedic where he's like freaking out, like, oh my hand.
Oh yeah, it's very Evil Dead 2-esque.
Yeah.
And his solution is just to step on his hand to stop it from doing anything, which is pretty quick thinking. Then she goes he again. She explains, now that you picked up that razor, you can't let go of it by your own will, which is, I guess, a good point. But then he uses a stand, Soft and Wet, who we see for the first time. It's just kind of a basic humanoid, but it has, like, a sailor anchor on the chest, and it's got things on the side of its head. I can't. It's funny how relatively
stand design.
Yeah, it's a relatively basic design, which is why I'm having a hard time describing it.
Yeah, it's just a lot of smooth surfaces and just stuff.
Then he goes.
I do like this fucking cover pose that he's got going on.
Yeah, they both kind of did this in this chapter.
And the part was like, shh, and then he just whispers the name of his stance. It's like,
I don't want anybody to whisper soft and wet at me.
No, no, thank you.
When my soap bubble touches something and it breaks, I take something from there. I took the sound from the wall. I forgot that's how he does this. Then he breaks the fucking wall.
I do, yeah, I like that he's just using his stand, and he's not even really... He has, no reservations about that. It's just like, I have a stand, this is its name, and this is what it does.
He also explains that, the person is 4 meters, 15 centimeters ahead, because of course he does.
Of course he does.
So he's kind of figuring out the situation of the guy upstairs, and it's like, well, he probably lost track of me at this point. And, oh, yeah, we leave it off there. That's the 4 chapters, I guess. I forgot that we kind of just end it there.
Yeah, there's kind of a cliffhanger is just, I'm going outside.
I'll go out onto the veranda. And then he does.
Does he get outside? Find out in the next exciting episode.
Of Grunky's Adventure. I could not think of a better name.
This is such an intense, it is kind of dumb because they just keep explaining the thing over and over again, but this is some serious power this stand has for the first fight.
Yeah. It's one of those early things where there's a lot of JoJo parts where because it's so early you kind of forget how fucked up some of these stands are power wise.
Yeah,
because I think it's been confirmed that Planet Waves is one of the strongest sands in the series. It's
right. That makes sense, but
yeah, it's just the guy using it isn't methodically using it, so it's kind of an extreme Okuyasu sort of deal where he's just kind of pissed off the entire time. So
because he doesn't even know that he has the stand.
Oh,
he
yeah,
learns about it during the fight.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, their muscles. How can I see their muscles? I forgot about one thing that I wanted to mention is that some of these characters do have voice actors because they were in All-Star Battle and stuff, because we're not going to get this animated for quite a while.
Yeah, at the time of recording, was it Stone Ocean finished a little over a year ago, I think?
Yeah, and Steel Ball Run may or may not be in the pipeline. They're still figuring out how to do that. But
yeah.
So yeah, Josuke 8 here. He's actually the voice of Kakyoin in the Capcom games. So there's your there's your main character connection there. Yasuho is Juri. For Street Fighter Juri, we should clarify. I guess he's the most popular one now. Complete opposite personalities there.
A little bit.
I forget who Joshu is voiced by, because he was playable in one of the games, but he did not return for All-Star Battle R. Which is...
was he playable in the fucking Eyes of Heaven thing?
Yeah. Oh
my god.
I think him and Endel were the only guys that did not return.
Shit, Endel.
Yeah, Endel getting the short end of the stick again. So,
short end of the walking stick.
Oh, Joshu was, fucking Ashley from Battle Fantasia.
Oh my god. That's appropriate, wow.
Yeah.
I guess that guy gets typecasted as fucking creeps.
Yeah, I
It's
suppose.
unfortunate.
He was straight in another game. Maybe the least creepy character he played. But, so yeah, that's, I could have sworn that chapter 4 is where we see the guy at the end, but I guess, I guess I remembered that wrong.
No, we're at a hell of a cliffhanger. It's like, it's one of those things I'm like, oh, we're only going to read 4. Damn, I want to keep going, but...
Well, I mean, we can.
Well, it depends.
I mean, because this is only an hour and a half. We could probably squeeze another in if you want.
No, I want to have actually read it first, like all the way through.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
But no, like
aspect.
it was like after I got to this point, I was like, oh man, I want to keep going though.
Well, we will be going very soon.
Very soon.
Yeah. I forget how you end these things. Like they're always like, here's our plugs, but it's like you know who we are if you're listening to this.
I guess I don't know if there's like a lot of conclusions, like an overview. It's an interesting start. It's certainly a lot different.
Yeah, that's like, because we'll get into how the second half to Jolian kind of goes off the rails in more ways than one, but
Yeah.
it's an interesting start to basically make it a mystery origin story for a JoJo part.
Yeah, it's not like an incredibly unique thing in general, but it is unique for JoJo's because we've never had a character quite like this as the protagonist.
Yeah, and just kind of this mysterious goofball that he's also very resourceful and quick on his feet.
Yeah, I do like this guy. Like it's sort of weird because there's not a lot to him, at least not so far. But
Yeah,
he's likable. Like he's silly in small but enjoyable ways.
yeah. Yasuho hasn't really, like, she'll get to do more stuff later, but for now she's just kind of like the scared supporting character.
She's kind of all over the place, but I get the feeling that'll narrow out a bit.
Yeah. Joshu, well, we got to him. But
Do we have to?
unfortunately. So, I guess before we leave, we can probably at least see the chapter names of the next 4 to see where we're kind of going here. I can figure out how to navigate this site again. Fucking manga decks. They only give all this shit to me for free easily. So yeah, next 4 chapters: Soft and Wet Part 4, Soft and Wet Part 5, Josuke goes to the Higashigane house, and California King Bed Part 1.
Oh, jeez.
California King Bed is one of those like of the time references because that is a Rihanna song. So
Right.
it's weird because the user kind of looks like Rihanna in a couple of shots, but
That maybe I think that's like the one thing I remember about this part is because there's one stand I remember because it's the prosopagnosia. I think it's I only know that because of 999, but I've seen it in like 3 times now where it's like, oh, you can't remember faces.
oh yeah, that. I do not remember if that's how it worked. I remember it was just chess oriented.
Yeah, there was something weird going on. I just remember that was one thing. I was like, oh, it's this again, and it's just like, oh, he can't recognize people's faces or something weird like that. But that's that'll be a couple of episodes from now, I think.
Yeah, that's I'll say 4 chapters. We maybe we'll blow through this thing pretty quick because most people just do like 2. We're doing 4.
Yeah, 4 was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, with that, I guess we should end it here. Yeah, like I said, we don't need to do plugs. You know who we are.
Yeah.
And if you don't, get educated.
Yeah, yeah.
We're cool.
Yeah, we make video games and make podcasts and
Well, he makes the
uh,
video games.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
I'm
you're gonna make video games.
eventually when I finally get
Yeah.
some filming space, but that's a whole thing. But yeah, I guess yeah, we'll have this will go up somewhere. I'm new to that too. I don't know how to. I am friends with somebody that owns a podcast, the Critical Wrestling Game Podcast. Shoutouts to them, the only podcast that mentioned me by name. They have their stuff on all over the place, so I'll probably just ask them maybe. But I don't know when we'll, because I work on a weekly schedule at work, and this is the day I'm not usually off, so we'll figure out some kind of schedule with this. But
Yeah, yeah.
it's
I get the feeling it might just end up being just whenever we can. But
we'll try to stick to something.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah. Until then, hope you enjoyed it. And who am I?
Who can you tell me who I am?
Who are you?
What is my name?
To be continued.
Like, he's gonna to be continued.